Hey guys, welcome back to Pokemon DnD with the Exodus Dominion. TattedSith here with American Warbird and Azrael. Um, American Warbird, tell us what happened in the last episode.
Well, last episode we officially left Terracoal Town, and we're currently in Route 1, and we camped the night, and Caleb caught a Pokemon.
Pretty much. The beginning of the last episode, we did actually have a battle. Isaiah did battle Emily and came out with the victory. Uh, it was a very surprising victory because her Heracross is her ace, and she has a full team, and she's already a well-known trainer with 5 gym badges as of right now. And a few other faces kind of made an appearance, but no interactions really. But it was with Nick and his Riolu, and Brandon and his Seedot were present, as well as, of course, as Parker and David. Each of our characters had a shift, as we have agreed between our characters during nighttime. We will take shifts. That way, if anything happens, one of us is at least awake for it. Isaiah had the opportunity to catch a pineco, and he kind of botched it a little bit, but it was okay. He didn't really seem too keen on a pineco, anyways.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Wolf.
Nothing happened.
Not a damn thing
Nothing
happened with Wolf.
happened.
He had Wolf had like the midnight to like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. shift, and it was not entertaining at all. Caleb, as y'all said, caught a Pokemon. He actually caught a Roly-Poly, which is a fire rock type, or rock. Actually, I think it's just a rock type right now.
At the moment, it's a rock type when it evolves.
Yes, at the moment, it is just a rock type. But yeah, right now it's about midday. We are all packed up, and we are also still on Route 1. We probably got about another, I think we only went about maybe 5 some miles in. We still got about another 15 miles until we even reach Telmont City. So right now we are heading up the trail. What are you guys doing as we are walking?
Well, I'm just basically playing with Gengar while we're walking. Basically, we're just making faces at each other as we walk around. And
Ghastly?
Yeah, Spirit actually.
No, not Gengar. It's Ghastly still.
Ghastly. I keep on.
Yeah, he's not a Gengar yet.
Yeah, and actually, if I may, we actually left out one important thing that we were going to tell the audience: the name of your Pokemon that you decide to name.
Ah, yes. So the name I actually decided to go with on Roly-Poly was Burnout, because he likes to obviously roll around. He does become a fire type eventually, and kind of bit. So, and it is a male Roly-Poly, so Burnout kind of feels like a Decepticon kind of name as well.
I think that actually is a Decepticon name.
Is it a Decepticon name?
I think so.
I know there's Blackout or something like that. I think Burnout might be one too. I don't know. I'll have to look it up afterwards. What are you looking it up right now?
I'm looking it up right now.
Of course. While he's looking that up, so what are you doing with Ghastly again?
Well, we're just basically messing around with each other and just trying to scare each other, make faces. I throw my book at him, and it goes right through him, and he picks it up and hands it back to me. But at the same time, he gives me a lick and sends a shiver down my spine.
So as you throw the book through Ghastly, it just kind of looks at you weird and just makes another tongue face, and it goes to grab the book with its mouth because it doesn't have hands yet, and it just grabs the book with its mouth, and it just like kind of like sticks its tongue out, and the book just like lays on the tongue, and then of course Isaiah just like grabs it and just like saliva. That's what I wanted on my book.
Right.
Wolf, what are you doing? Also, did you find out if it was a Decepticon?
It's not a Decepticon. He is an Autobot.
Oh, it's an Autobot. Fantastic. Okay. Anyways, so what are you doing as we are walking along Route 1?
Well, I'm watching Luna run in and out of the bushes that are alongside the trail that we're walking along.
Okay.
Just sort of laughing to myself at her antics from jumping in and out of the bushes.
Okay. Caleb is he's just walking around. He's kind of keeping like pace behind you guys a little bit, kind of keeping like the sixth of the group. But as you guys are like walking and stuff, you guys hear a woman yell for help. What do you guys do?
I'll let you have the stand first, Wolf.
We hear a woman yell for help.
You do?
I start looking around for the source of where this woman is yelling for help.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a dexterity investigation.
2d10s?
Yes.
I rolled a 3 and a 2.
What was the third dice?
Wait, it's 3d10s or
it's three d10s.
10, 5, 5. I had to reroll. Because
It was
I messed up.
10-5-5? You rolled a 10-5-5?
Yeah, I had to reroll.
Alright, so you got at least one. You got one success. Okay. So I'll say that you are kind of looking around, and Luna kind of like sniffs the air and stuff, as if it's like searching for where the sound came from, or the voice came from. And Luna kind of like gives like a glare off of like to the right side of the trail. And to the right side of the trail is like a small, like little forested area. It's not as forested as the side on the left, because the side on the left is actually a part of Sybil Forest, and we'll get to Sybil Forest later on. But the side on the right is actually just a small, like little forested area. It's not huge, so it hasn't been really named or anything. But the voice is coming from in there. So knowing this, what do you do?
I hollered for Luna to come on, and we both run into the forest to find the source.
Okay. Isaiah, what are you doing? As you see Wolf and Luna running off into the thicket of the forest to find this voice.
Well, I go ahead and tell Spirit to come along. Let's hope that he doesn't get lost or anything. And I'm not really rushing myself over there. I'm just walking my normal pace because I don't know what is up ahead, and I don't know if there's going to be trouble ahead. So if there is trouble, I would like to stay back a ways to assess the danger, and if I need to, step in.
Okay. Caleb kind of like follows suit, and he'll follow you into like the forest and everything, and just to have your back and whatnot. But as you make your way closer to the sound of the woman yelling for help and everything, you come across this brunette lady, probably like in her 30s. She's, if we're rating on hotness and stuff, which I know probably Isaiah is, she's probably a 7. We'll go with a 7. Nice, solid 7. You stay calm with her. But she's kind of backed up to a tree, and a spinnerack is it's just sitting there with its like little pincers and stuff, and it's already got like webs like thrown at both sides of her, keeping her pinned or like in that general area where if she moves to one side, she's gonna get stuck. The spinner rack, it's a decent sized spinner rack. It's about yay big, you know. It's a nice spider. But obviously the spinner rack is causing issues for her. It's at this time she kind of notices Wolf first come out of the brush. Wolf, what do you do as you see this spinner rack torturing this woman with its spidey sense?
I holler for Luna to jump in front of the spinner rack to get between the woman and the spinner rack.
Will you be initiating a fight with the spinner rack?
Yes.
Go get ahead and give me a roll for initiative.
14.
Spinner, I got a 5. Okay, well, the first move is on you. What would you like to have Luna do?
I holler for Luna to use quick attack.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
17.
Spinner, I got a 7. Alright, so Luna kind of like runs out and just like jumps over the spinner rack and like lands, turning around swiftly facing the spinner rack. And the woman, she's like just scared against the tree and stuff. Luna is growling and everything, and as you give it its command to use quick attack, it just like vanishes and just does its like normal like back and forth kind of thing, and it just headbutts right into spinner rack. The spinner rack goes tumbling a bit backwards, and as it like lands on its 4 legs, and it kind of gives like a menacing like little hiss of sorts towards you. At this time, it kind of goes in for a poison sting, and bits of like poison starts flying towards Luna. So let's go ahead and roll. Yeesh. That is a nat 20.
Oh.
Yeah, I already feel I had a nat 1.
Okay, so that's double damage. So, and because you rolled a nat 1, you are going to get the poison infliction. So, poison infliction, after every turn, you lose a health. So, it's times like these that you can use an antidote, and then use a potion, or use a potion, then use an antidote. It's up to you how you want to do that, or you can just let your Pokemon suffer. It's completely up to you. But you do have a poison infliction. You are down to HP. Spinnerack, its attack does land multiple poison needles and penetrates Luna's side. The status infliction of poison can be seen as a little purple kind of like comes underneath her eyes and everything. It is your move. What would you like to do?
I will go ahead and use a potion and antidote to keep Luna from being too injured.
So you can only use one at a time.
Of course.
Which would you like to use first?
The antidote first.
Okay. So the antidote is used. You are now down to 1 antidote, I believe, but you do cure the poison infliction. As you do that, the Spinnerack kind of takes advantage of the time that you are spraying Luna down with the antidote to cure it of its illness, and Spinnerack kind of goes in to use a bite attack. So Spinnerack rolls a 6.
3.
All right, so Spinnerack like lunges in and it has like a nice bite like right on the back of Luna's left leg, back paw. And Luna kind of lets out a small yell and stuff, and then Spinnerack kind of like backs up and is getting ready for its next attack. But it's now your turn, so what do you do?
I'm going to go ahead and use one of my potions.
Okay. Potions typically heal up 5 HP, and as your Pokemon evolves and stuff, it gains 5 HP and stuff. So, or 10 if it only has 1 evolution and stuff. We're still working out the kinks of like the health bars and everything. I'm thinking for every time it does, for every like 5 experience or so that it gets, we can give it an extra health bar.
Okay.
So just be sure to keep track of that. Azrael, how's that sound to you? Every 5 experience points to your Pokemon gets, it gains a health bar as well.
I guess we could do that.
Well, I'm glad you guys see that we could do that. Alright, so, but right now, I believe Luna only has 2 XP, correct?
Yeah, she only has 2 XP.
Okay, so,
Last leg.
well, the potion actually heals her up and everything. She's back up to full health. But that does take a few turns. So the Spinnerack goes in for another bite. And it is going to roll an 11.
16.
After Luna is healed up, it sees the Spinnerack coming in for the same general area of attack. And it jumps up over Spinnerack and lands on its side, on Spinnerack's left side. It is now your turn. What do you have Luna do?
I holler for her to use a quick attack.
Okay.
I
Go
rolled
ahead and roll. A what?
a 10.
Well, it rolled a 1, so you do double damage. So, Luna, seeing that Spinnerack has yet to turn around completely, kind of like does like a speed run around to its other side as it's trying to turn this way. As it's trying to turn this way, it's running around it or whatever to keep out of its sight, and it kind of just goes in and just like lunges for like a very strong headbutt, bringing the Spinnerack down to 2 HP. At this time, the Spinnerack tries to turn around and use like a string shot. String shot doesn't really do much. It is more of like a slowness effect. But we're going to see if it connects. It has a 3.
17.
So Luna is very capable of jumping and dodging the webbing of Spinnerack as it comes lunging at her. So what do you have Luna do now?
I will holler for Luna to use Beat Up.
Okay.
I rolled 11.
It rolled a 9. So beat up is successful. Luna kind of like jumps over the webbing as Spinnerack is shooting its web at it, and it kind of like jumps up and it just starts leaning up and starts using its front 2 like little paws to just rapidly punch Spinnerack. And Spinnerack kind of like it fumbles backwards a little bit. It's down to 1 HP now, and it's kind of entered like an angry mode. And it kind of goes in for another poison sting. It rolls a 15.
17.
Luna she's full of energy right now, and she feels very revigorated and everything as she dodges the onslaught of poison sting needles as they lunge at her. And at this time, it is now your turn to give a command.
I holler for her to use one more quick attack. I rolled a 5.
It rolled a 1. So no matter what you would have rolled, it would have done double damage. So at this time, Luna, it just vanishes, and her Luna style, Spinnerack looks around to find Luna, and Luna's nowhere to be seen. Of course, Luna is in the air doing its little headbutt dive of a quick attack, and it just knocks the Spinnerack out cold. What do you do now?
Is the Spinnerack a wild Spinnerack?
The Spinnerack is a wild Spinnerack.
I am going to go ahead and catch it. Or attempt to catch it.
Okay. Well then.
It runs away. I rolled a 1.
You as is the luck of kinds of games.
Hero.
It is unfortunate, but the Spinnerack does indeed. It kind of like scurries off as hit it with the Pokeball, and it pops out immediately, and it's like, oh hell no, and it just like scurries off and everything. But the woman thanks you for your bravery, as Caleb and Isaiah are just sitting back watching the battle take place. The woman, as she sees the Spinnerack run off, she walks up to you and like grabs your hand and starts shaking it, like very violently shaking your hand, but thanking you. She asks you, "What is your name?"
My name is Wolf, and my Nickit here is named Luna.
Well, she grabs your hand and she's shaking it. She like looks over to Luna. She's like, "Oh, thank you, Luna, very much. You were so brave." And she looks at you. She's like, "Thank you so much. You were excellent. If it weren't for you, I could have ended up as spider food and stuff." And Caleb in the back just kind of like snickers a little bit, and he like leans over to Isaiah and he's like, "So, what did you think about that battle?"
I thought it was executed very poorly.
You are very harsh on him. We're gonna have to talk about you and Wolf's like little thing, and this is in character. I'm talking to you in character. I'm just like, we're gonna have to talk about this. We're gonna have to have like a group powwow about what's going on between you two. I don't know if there's like sexual tension or what. But there's
Whoa!
not.
Whoa! Whoa! Hold it there,
What?
buddy. Cool your jets.
I don't know.
Going there. Well,
I don't know. It's like
Oh.
high school. The bullies typically have a crush on the person that they're bullying.
Listen, I'm not. I don't swing that way. All right. This guy. Nah.
He just don't
Nah.
like me.
Nah.
I know. I'm just pulling your chain. Anyways, so
Shithead.
back on track. So the woman, after she is done violently shaking your hand and like making your hand purple by how hard she was squeezing, she quickly pulls out a wallet and hands you like $100. She's like, I thank you so much. Hope that this is enough to cover more potions and stuff for Luna and so forth. I'm gonna get going back to Telmont City, and hopefully I'll see you guys there someday. And she kind of like scurries off and gets back on the main road and starts walking, or more so pacing, like herself, like kind of like like a jog sorts back to Telmont City. And we are still about 10 miles out from Telmont City, so she's out quite a bit of ways. So Caleb kind of approaches Wolf and is like, "You got paid pretty well for that."
Yeah, now my hand hurts from her shaking my hand.
Caleb kind of looks back to Isaiah and he's like, "Well, aren't you going to say something to Wolf, or are you still having like a death match with him?"
Shake it off, you pansy.
Of course. In true Isaiah fashion.
Exactly.
Oh, Caleb kind of gives like Wolf like a little pat on the back, and he's like, "Good job." Sucks about the Spinnerack, but I mean, more Pokemon to come sometime. But as you guys are in the forest and everything, you guys kind of make your way back to the trail, start on your way again. During that time, it was probably about like an hour or so with that, so it's probably about 2 o'clock now. You guys are walking on the road. You see different signs and stuff for Telmont City. Beware of Pokemon, so and so, all that. As you guys are walking and stuff, you kind of see a Pokemon battle taking place off to the side. And lo and behold, one of the trainers is Nick with his Riolu. And the other person is just it's another trainer. They've got like a Scyther, and they're going at it and stuff and going back and forth. And what do you guys do? Should we keep on walking, or
I want to watch the battle and see where it goes.
Okay.
Same here, actually. Just because of the Riolu.
Caleb kind of like...
Oh, sorry. I am more likely taking out my Pokédex and analyzing one of the Pokemon that is fighting against the Scyther.
And that's perfect opportunity to use your Pokédex. So Caleb kind of nods as he takes out his Pokédex as well and like lifts it up to both Riolu and the Scyther, and they both register into the Pokédex with the information and everything. The battle's going on right now, and It seems like the Scyther is winning almost. It's flying abilities with its wings and everything. But out of nowhere, you see Riolu just like kind of like move its hands back like this and just release an aura sphere, and it just connects with the Scyther's face, and the Scyther just falls out of the sky and onto the ground, knocked out. And that ends their battle and stuff. And Nick and Riolu kind of like go up to the other trainer and they shake their hands and everything. The battle itself takes maybe like 5 minutes or so we aren't there for long, or we aren't watching for long. But Nick kind of notices all of us watching, and he approaches and he looks at all of us and he's like, "Do any of you guys want to battle as well?"
I'm up for the challenge.
Okay, Wolf, what about you?
I'll leave this to Isaiah.
Okay.
But I
All
do
right,
have a
so-
quick question.
Okay.
Did the Pokeball I tried to use on Spinnerack get destroyed or no?
I'm gonna say no,
Alright.
because it wasn't even like used really much because you threw it at it, but it
Scurried
didn't even
off
like
in a hurry.
it scurried off. So no, you get to keep that Pokeball, I'd say. But as Nick asks the question, Isaiah kind of like steps forward. Caleb was about to say something, but he's like, "Yeah, I'll let Isaiah have another battle." So, as Nick nods and everything towards you, he kind of like, "Okay, well, we will use one Pokemon each," and he says, "Let's go ahead and head down to the arena." So Nick heads down to one side, and Riolo's still out of his Pokeball, and Riolu kind of like it just like starts like moving back and forth, like it's like ready to fight and everything. So what do you do?
Could you repeat that?
So the Riolu, Nick and Riolu are down by the stadium or by the little training area. Riolu is already ready. It's looking like it's ready to fight. So what do you do?
I walk to the other side of the arena, and I call upon Spirit to take the stage.
Okay. All right, go ahead and roll for initiative. We got a 6.
1d10 or 1d20?
1d20.
I got a 10.
All right, so you will get the first move.
All right. All right, so I would go ahead and call upon Spirit to use Hypnosis off the bat.
Okay.
And I'll
You roll.
roll.
Yep.
Let's see. I rolled a 17.
And we rolled a 2. So the hypnosis does connect. The Riolu kind of like gets drowsy as it just like falls down and like sits in like sitting position. Of course, with the sleeping, it's going to skip Riolu's first turn, and then on the next turn it will have the opportunity to break out. But now that it's back to your turn, what do you have Spirit do?
I'm going to use Sucker Punch, and I rolled 11.
It rolled a 16. So as Spirit is going in for the Sucker Punch, Riolu in its sleep just kind of like lays backwards and just starts snoring, and the Sucker Punch just like flies like right over its head as it was falling and stuff. So the odds of that happening are always low, but they always seem to happen to our group for some reason. Now I'm going to attempt to roll to get out of the sleeping paralysis. Riolu does break free of the sleeping as it rolls an 8 out of 10. So the Riolu, now awake, kind of like goes in for a like a little bullet punch of sorts. So it rolls a 13.
I rolled a 16.
Yeah. So the bullet punch kind of like just phases in and out of Spirit. Spirit kind of just like giggles, sort of, as the punches kind of like just phase through it. What do you have Spirit do?
I'm going to ask Spirit to one more time use Sucker Punch.
Okay.
I rolled a 13.
It rolls a 16. So, as Spirit goes in for another Sucker Punch, the Riolu quickly like ducks the attack, and it kind of like, as it's like ducking, it like has its hands go forward, and like a little blue ball, its aura sphere, he attempts to shoot it upwards at Spirit. We roll a 10.
I rolled 11.
Alright, so Spirit is able to quickly evade the attack. The Riolu kind of like does like a little like mini like little backflip of sorts and lands ready to face off again, but it is now back to your turn. What do you have it do?
Okay. The next thing I want to have it do, I want to ask Spirit to use Hex.
Okay.
Let's see. Roll. I rolled a 5.
It rolls a 4. So the
Oh.
Hex connects. And it does 1 damage. Hex kind of like, it weakens like its like mobility and stuff, and it kind of makes it slower of sorts and kind of weaker in a sense, like its attack stat falls. But it is down finally to 4 HP. Nick, he's kind of gritting his teeth a little bit, and he has Riolu go in for another Aura Sphere. Okay, we rolled a 10.
I rolled a 10 as well.
Reroll. 19.
1.
So that's going to do double damage. So the Riolu, feeling the pressure coming from its trainer, kind of like does like a centered like aura sphere, and like the ball like just like forms bigger right here, and he just like pushes it towards Spirit, and Spirit is caught off guard, and it takes Spirit, and it looks like Spirit's like half of its body like goes like phasing and like into like a weird mist of sorts before coming back, and it's like dizzy-ish. So Spirit's down to 3 HP. Riolu's at 4. What do you have Spirit do?
Spirit, use Lick.
Okay.
I rolled a 16.
Roll a 7. The lick connects and it paralyzes Riolu. Riolu he's stunned, and because it is status infliction, it is going to skip its first turn on that. So it's back to you.
Spirit, use Sucker Punch. And I rolled a 17.
It rolls a 13. So Spirit comes in with a sucker punch, and as Riolu is sleeping, it kind of just like goes in, or it's not sleeping, it's just paralyzed. So Riolu is kind of like on a bent knee with one of its like knuckles down, and it's like trying to like move, but Spirit's a little bit too fast at this point, and it just comes in and just like lands a nice sucker punch across the face, sending Riolu flying backwards. Riolu's going to attempt to stand up. Of course, I got to see if it's going to break free of its paralysis. It does not break free of the paralysis. So, with that being said, Riolu tries to stand up, but it's still struggling. It is now back to you.
Don't let off on that Pokemon, Spirit. Use Sucker Punch again.
Okay.
And I rolled another 17.
It rolls an 11. So, the sucker punch comes in, of course, and it kind of like lands like on the back of the Riolu, and the Riolu like kind of like falls down to the ground. It's down to 1 HP. The Riolu breaks out of its paralysis, and Nick swiftly tells it to use Swift Attack. Riolu kind of like raises its hands, and a bunch of like little stars like appear, and they just start flying at you. It rolls an 18.
Oh, 5.
Alright, so that's going to hit you, and that takes you down to, I believe, 2 HP, correct? Yes, it does. So 2 HP. The stars kind of like smack into Ghastly as its form kind of like evaporates a little bit, and the Ghastly kind of like reforms, and its smile is kind of like frowning a little bit, so it's not as happy. It is now your turn. What do you have Spirit do?
Okay. I wanted to try it one more time. I'm going to ask Spirit to shake it off and try to make a home run by using Sucker Punch one more time.
Okay.
I rolled a 10.
Well, you rolled a 14. Ryo quickly does like a little tuck and roll to dodge the attack, and Nick hollers for Ryo to quickly turn and use another Aura Sphere. Alright, it rolls a 6.
I rolled a 7.
Ryo quickly turns and just like lets loose like another Aura Sphere, but Ghastly kind of like, so as like the ball's like coming, Ghastly just like goes, like wraps around it, kind of to evade it, and it is now your turn to have Spirit do something. Hopefully, something good.
I really hope I hope it is something good. Okay, I'm going to ask Spirit to use hypnosis.
Okay.
I rolled an 11.
It rolls a 17. So,
Close one.
as like Spirit is like trying to like use its hypnosis, the Riolu kind of like evades the attack, and Nick like rushes out his hand and tells it to use Swift again. And so Riolu raises its hands once more, and more stars appear and start flying towards Ghastly. It rolls another 17.
9.
It connects and hits Ghastly. Ghastly kind of like starts to evaporate more, and its levitation starts to like simmer down. It is now to 1 HP as well. This is down to 1 in 1. Next hit will decide. But it is your turn. So, will Ghastly come out victorious? What do you have Spirit do as it begins to fall?
Spirit, get up, buddy. You can do this. Try hit it with Sucker Punch again.
Okay.
I rolled a 20.
We got a 2.
Damn.
So, Spirit kind of like, it struggles as it's like faltering down to the ground, and as it hears you kind of like yell for it with your like pretty much cry of like hope, it just like puts on like a game face and just like quickly like vanishes and just appears like right in front of the Riolu in like a small mist, like for its fist kind of, but it doesn't look like it's just like a ball of mist just appears and just like smacks the Riolu across the face. And the Riolu just starts like, it just falls back and just like lays there with its like eyes twirling as if it was knocked unconscious. And that decides the match. So Spirit will gain an experience point. So make sure you keep track of that.
That's 3 so far.
That does make 3. Nick will call back his Riolu, and he looks at his Pokeball. He's like, "You did a great job, buddy." Nick kind of looks up towards Isaiah, and he's like, "Your Ghastly did fantastic. I would say that I could blame it on the fact that we were in a previous battle already, but so goes the spoils of battle, and to the victor, you, goes the money." And he walks up to you and hands you $75. Per custom of battles, it can range depending, but it's usually going to be about $50 to $100 for Pokemon like trainer battles, depending on how many Pokemon are used. If it's like 1 to 2, it's usually going to be about $75. For about 3 to 4, probably about $100, and then for like 5 to 6, depending on who you're battling, it could range anywhere from like 100 to like 300 or so. Just depending, but keep track of your money. Nick kind of like, he goes up to shake your hand, Isaiah, and he's like, "Again, well done. I look forward to a rematch in the future.
I look forward to it. I must say, your Pokemon is very strong.
He kind of gives a nod and stuff, and he's like, yes, me and Riolu have been together for quite a long time. He is training day in and day out. Uh, he's like, we are on a journey to become a Pokemon Master as well, and it seems that you guys are as well, right? And he kind of like looks towards you, and then he looks towards both Wolf and Caleb as well.
I would say, yeah, that's right. Me and Caleb both.
And he says, only two of you, and he's like, what about the other one?
I am trying to be the best breeder in the region.
Like the
Nick
best,
kind of
best
like
appointment.
looks over to Isaiah, but looks back to Wolf, and he's like, that is a fine aspiration to be working towards. He goes on to say that we need more breeders. He says it's a profession that not many wish to pursue these days. He kind of like gives like a wave as he begins walking towards Telmont City, and after about 20 or 30 minutes or so, we pick up. So it's been about another 2 hours. So now we're looking about like 5 o'clock ish. At this point, we're about 8 miles away from Telmont City. What would you
If I
guys
may ask,
like?
what
Yes,
was name? How do you spell that Pokemon's name by any chance I was up against?
Riolu.
Riolu.
It's R.
Riolu.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Are you looking up to see what it was, or are you just typing?
Yeah, I was looking up and I was also typing for my story.
Ah. With that being said, so we are back on the road. We have about another 4 hours of daylight. In that time, it is very possible that we can make it to Terracol, or not Terracol, but to
Telmont.
Telmont. Thank you very much. It is very possible that we'll make it to Telmont City. Caleb kind of looks at you guys and he's like, are we going to attempt to make it there, or should we make camp soon?
Mm,
I think we should make camp soon.
I agree.
Okay. So you guys keep walking for about another like 3 miles or so, and you guys find a nice open area that's off from the trail. It seems like it's a picnic area where a lot of travelers tend to stop and everything. There's like a little area for like tents to be set up and everything, so it's a perfect place for us to stop to rest for the evening and stuff. So as we do, we all get out our tents and our sleeping bags and start setting everything up. Um, Caleb has Charmander come out, and he has Roly Poly come out as well. Roly Poly kind of sets up like some coal in the middle of the fire pit that's near the campground, and he has Natsu just. I keep calling them by their things. I'm supposed to be calling them by their nicknames, darn it. But Natsu kind of like so Burnout uses some of its coal and puts it in the fire pit, and then Natsu just ignites the coal and sets a nice fire for us and everything. Caleb kind of like says good job to them and everything, and yeah. So at this time, we have in our bags currently we have jerky pretty much, and then of course we have the orange berries and stuff which can be cooked as well. Of course, there's also Pokemon food. Um, I was debating whether or not to make Pokemon food like a thing that we had to go buy and everything, but I think we're always gonna have like some sort of Pokemon food on us.
Got a
So
question for you.
okay,
Did Nick ever tell me how much money I got out of that battle?
$75.
$75. Thank you.
So as it's going on, the Pokemon have all been fed. They're all eating and everything. Spirit and Luna are sharing a bowl, and Burnout and Natsu are sharing a bowl. And then we all have. Caleb is using some of the jerky and put it on stick to kind of like cook it over the fire a little bit to give it more of like a smoky taste. Um, What are you guys cooking for food?
I'm actually
Guys-
doing this. I'm doing the
Okay.
same thing as Caleb.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing actually as well. I actually have jerky in my a bag of jerky in my bag, and I am partaking in that,
Okay, so
sharing some of that.
we're all roasting some of our jerky and everything. Which, by the way, once we get to Telmont, there will be a place where we can buy different foods and stuff like that. So, luckily, you guys have money and stuff like that. Um, as we're cooking and everything, it starts to get darker and whatnot. We're all eating, and of course, it comes time for our nighttime shifts. So, for this, I have decided that we are going to roll for shifts. So we're each going to roll a d20. The whoever rolls the highest will be on the first shift. Second highest will be second shift, and then of course whoever rolls the lowest will be the third shift. So go ahead and roll your d20s.
I rolled a
I've
6.
rolled a 15.
I rolled a 19. So that means Caleb will be taking the first shift. Then it will be Isaiah. Really, right? Yeah, it'll be Isaiah and then
Yep.
it'll be Wolf in the morning. So at this time, excuse me. At this time, it's pretty much time for us to start getting things ready for bed and everything. Caleb kind of walks over to you guys and he's like, "Guys, it's been a long day. You guys have done some stuff today. I'll go ahead and take the first shift."
Okay, be careful on your watch.
I'll try.
Have a good night.
You too. Uh, as you guys fall asleep and everything, Luna kind of runs into the tent with Wolf, snuggles up. Ghastly kind of just goes back into its Pokeball, and uh, both of you guys zip up your tents and everything, and it's just Natsu, Burnout, and Caleb sitting out in the open around the fire as they're just looking around. It's about 11 o'clock right now, and it is time to see if anything happens. So, with that being said, what was the dice that we decided that we would roll to see if it's a d20? Was it?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
d20.
it would be
Yeah,
D20.
anything 1 through 10, nothing, and then
Yeah,
11
1 through
11 through
10 is
20
nothing.
is an
something happened.
occurrence.
Okay, so let's roll. Caleb got an 18.
Oh,
Something
yeah,
happens.
look at that.
Alright, so let's see here. We are, if I'm going to pull up the map real quick, just to get a quick little look-see, and I'll send you a copy of the map to Warbird so you can possibly post a little picture, or do you have a picture of it?
I do have a picture I just didn't post it in the last video.
Okay, no, that's fine, that's fine. So we are currently on Route 1, and we are pretty much close to Telmont City, but we are camping on the right side of the forest that hasn't been named yet. Okay, so I'm going to say at this time, we hear some stuff going on in the bushes and everything, and Roly Coly's kind of keeping guard. It's kind of got a very defensive persona about it. Natsu kind of looks over as it's still eating leftover food and everything. What's going on? And out of the brush comes a Pokemon. It is now time to see what Pokemon is for me. It is going to be a Gen 1 Pokemon.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
So, yes, ooh. Let's see here. 2Ds of this.
156.
I have the Pokemon number. We're going to go. I should have had this already pulled up. I do apologize. Let's see here. And the Pokemon that jumps out at me. Oh! Alright. So I rolled a 61, but because we are still on the starting routes and still pretty early on, I'm going to use the first stage of the Pokemon. The Pokemon in question is a Poliwag.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
So you actually
Look
rolled.
at you go.
You rolled like a Poliwhirl or Poliwrath, I believe.
I rolled a Poliwag. Seeing this Poliwag just like waddle on out of the grass and everything, and just like looks around, and Roly Poly kind of like looks at it and it's like gives it like a little glare. Natsu continues to eat and everything, and the Poliwag kind of like just like waddles over some more, and it like does like a little sniff kind of thing, sort of, and it looks over at Natsu and Burnout, and it just like wiggles on over to them and starts eating some of the food. And Roly Poly is just like, oh hell nah. And Roly Poly kind of like rolls over there and like nudges it, and it's like, bro, what's up? Kind of like aggravates the Poliwag, and the Poliwag kind of like lets loose like a little driblet of water. But of course, both of my Pokemon are weak to water, so this is going to be an interesting matchup.
Yes.
Of course, we aren't taking into account type advantages and stuff like that, because that would destroy a lot of what we do. But I'm going to say that this is going to initiate a battle between Roly Poly or Burnout and Poliwag. So, if you would do me the honor of rolling for the Poliwag, we need to roll for initiative.
8.
19. So Burnout's going to go first. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Burnout's list here. I am going to... Caleb, of course, stands up and just like watches what's going on. He's like, Pokemon, I want that. He looks to to Burnout, and he quickly like lets out his hand. And he says, "Use Tackle." And I did not mean to do that. There we go. We rolled a 14.
20.
Fantastic. So Burnout attempts to like just start spinning its wheels really fast, and it attempts to just like charge at the Poliwag, but the Poliwag kind of just like does like a little like sidestep and just dodges. And at this time, Poliwag just kind of like glares at it and just attempts to use like a water gun straight onto Burnout.
2.
7. So the water gun is coming in towards Burnout, and Burnout quickly like just like does like a little like maneuvering, like a little like mini bicycle of sorts or motorcycle, and it kind of like charges in some more. And Caleb tells it to use Rock Blast, and from its back, pieces of coal to start to form together and start firing off at the Poliwag. Eesh. We rolled a 1.
8.
The Poliwag kind of like dodges. It's glaring at the at Burnout as it's doing it. Like, you're never gonna touch me. And Poliwag kind of like goes in to do a double slap with its tail.
19.
We rolled a 10. So the Poliwag comes in and just like quickly turns around, and its tail just like smacks the crap out of Burnout, and Burnout just like backs up a bit, and it's just like steam just starts forming like around it and everything. But that takes Burnout down to 1 HP. Oh, by the way, sidetrack above table. Don't forget, you need to heal Spirit, or you're gonna have to wait till you get to the city, because you have yet to heal Spirit. So maybe like on your watch, it might be a good idea to do so.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about it.
Back to the battle. Burnout glares at the Poliwag as it just violated its face with its own tail and everything. And Caleb kind of like tells it to use Stealth Rock to throw rocks at it. It's kind of like Rock Blast in a way, but less bulky, more sharp. We rolled an 18.
14.
So the stealth rock goes over, and a few of them like jab into like the sides of the Poliwag, and it takes it down to 4 HP. And the cool thing about stealth rock, for future references, if you use stealth rock, if you're in a Pokemon battle and there's more than one Pokemon being used, every time you switch out Pokemon or the opponent switches that Pokemon, the next Pokemon that's sent in takes an HP damage because the stealth rock are all set up. But the Poliwag, after being pierced by a few of the rocks, kind of like goes in to use another water gun on Burnout. Burnout rolls 9.
14.
Yeesh. The water gun connects, and Burnout kind of like just like it's still steaming. It's obviously angry. It's not happy with this Poliwag. Caleb kind of like chuckles as he sees, because he's like, this isn't really serious. It's more of the fact that Burnout is just a very protective and defensive Pokemon. And it's just like, bro, I'm gonna destroy you. He tells Roly-Poly to use another tackle, and Roly-Poly just starts spinning his wheel really fast and just like charges towards. Ooh, Roly-Poly or Burnout rolled a 20.
2.
Ooh. So,
my.
yes, it's going to do a double damage. The Burnout kind of like rushes in, and the Poliwag attempts to use like another water gun as it's coming in, and Burnout kind of like just diverts itself and then comes in from the side and just whacks the crap out of the Poliwag and sends it tumbling backwards. This brings the Poliwag down to 2 HP, I believe. Fantastic. The Poliwag gets back up to its feet, and it goes in to use Bubble. And bits of, like, multiple bubbles just start forming, spraying towards Burnout. Well, there's Bubble and Bubble Beam.
18.
18, you said?
Yes.
We rolled an 18 as well. So re-roll.
6.
12. So, as the bubbles start forming and start shooting towards Burnout kind of like does like a donut 180 and turns around, and Caleb kind of like looks towards him and tells him to use Rock Tomb, and Burnout like has a few rocks form, and they levitate over towards the Poliwag, and they just start falling down. 15.
11.
The Rock Tomb connects as a bunch of rocks just fall all around the Poliwag, and another center one just falls on top of the Poliwag, and the Poliwag just like lets out like a cry, and the rocks kind of like break off, and the Poliwag's like struggling and everything. And it looks up and it tries to use another water gun on Burnout. Burnout rolls a 9.
17.
Okay. So the water gun connects. Burnout is hit by it, and it is obviously weakened and everything. It's the coal around it is turned to like a weird mushy feeling, and it's steaming some more. Caleb tells it to use Rock Blast one more time, and a rock just forms above Roly-Poly and starts shooting towards Poliwag. 14.
14.
Reroll. 13.
9.
Fantastic. The Rock Blast just hurls towards the Poliwag. The Poliwag kind of like looks up and is just like, crap. And it just smacks the Poliwag in the face, and the Poliwag just like lays over. I would say like this, but it doesn't have arms yet, so it just like lays over and it's just knocked out. So at this time, Caleb kind of like nods to Burnout. He's like, great job. Charmander, or Natsu, is still eating on berries, just watching the battle take place, trying not to like get involved because it's a very timid Charmander. And Caleb, he grabs one of his Pokeballs and he attempts to chunk it at the Poliwag. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the rules on this just to make sure. Okay. Let's see here. First attempt. I'll take it.
What was
So,
it?
it was a 19.
You caught it.
I caught it.
That
So,
makes 3 Pokemon now.
That does make 3 Pokemon. As Caleb throws a Pokeball at the Poliwag, it hits the Poliwag upside the face, and the ball just starts shaking. 1, 2, 3, and then boom. And Caleb says, "Great job to Burnout." Burnout does gain 1 experience point because of that. And so Caleb has captured a Poliwag. After doing so, he kind of he doesn't give Burnout a potion because he feels like within the next 5 miles we will be reaching Talmont City and we'll be able to use the Pokemon Center and stuff there. But he has captured a Poliwag, so that takes away 1 of the Pokeballs that he has. Go ahead and change that.
It seems to me that you're trying to collect all the elements, fire, earth, and water so far.
Alright, now I just need a bird type. Or a bird Pokemon. But, alright. Well,
The Avatar meets
I'm
Pokemon.
gonna say that took about an hour or so, and then he comes back and he doesn't take Poliwag out right now because it's injured. Of course, he wants it to be healed and stuff before he calls it back out and everything. So he'll wait till they get to the Pokemon Center to do so. He sits there for a little bit. Nothing of much relevance happens. A few bug Pokemon fly overhead and everything, and he looks up and is like, "Eh," just to make sure that they're not like crazy ones, because one of them looked like a Scyther, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't want to screw with one of those right now." But time passes, and the alarm goes off on the cell phone, and unzips a tent, and Isaiah pokes his head out, and he's like, "Great, I have the late night shift." So, Caleb kind of he snickers as he raises another Pokeball at Isaiah, and I'm assuming what does Isaiah do as he sees Caleb just shaking another Pokeball at him?
What is that supposed to mean?
I'll show you guys tomorrow. With Caleb doing that,
Oh boy.
he goes to his tent. And he lays down, and Pokemon are all in their Pokeballs, and he rolls up his tent, or he zips up his tent, and he crashes and stuff. It is now probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, as Isaiah is flipping Caleb off for some apparent reason. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. You hear some things going on and stuff. Let's see here. Let me see your character sheet real quick. Interesting. Go ahead and give me a dexterity perception check, if you would. So that looks like you have 3 d10s to roll.
Oh, 3 d10s to roll? Gotcha. I can do that.
And tell me which each die was.
2, 4, 8.
So you got 1 success. That's all you needed. So as you are looking around and stuff, I'm assuming Spirit's out as well, right?
I just got him out of his Pokeball, and I told him, if I gotta suffer through this, you gotta suffer with me.
That is a very odd way of keeping your Pokemon close. You have a very odd relationship with your friends and your Pokemon, my friend.
No,
But
me and him have a mutual understanding.
Fair enough. So you guys hear some noises and stuff, and then you guys, from a little bit from inside the forest, you hear like a weird sound coming, and do you decide to pursue the sound?
Yes, I did pursue it.
Okay, so you start walking, and thanks to your success on your dexterity perception, you come across what looks like some of the berries from one of y'all's backpacks being half eaten and stuff. From this, you see a little trail of seeds, and you decide to follow it. Go ahead and roll a d8 for me.
A 1d8.
1d8.
I got a 6.
We are going
Gen
with
6.
Gen 6 Pokédex, huh? I believe that's X and Y, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the Kalos region.
I think so.
Mm. Okay, so with that being said, I need you to roll. You can create your own deck, your own dice, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I need you to roll a D100 and do a D160.
155.
Okay, so we're not facing legendaries right now.
Oh, come on! You can't do that to me, man. Put me in the game, coach.
We're not at
We're not
that
doing
stage yet.
legendaries right now.
We're not at
Not
that
yet.
stage yet.
How
Not
could you?
yet. It
How
would
could
destroy
you?
you. It
What was-
would destroy you.
Quick question, what was that legendary?
So if we were going by that thing, I gotta put them in order because it's giving me by coastal stuff. Let's see here. What number did you roll?
155?
155. And I gotta roll again because this is a. I think I might have to roll. I need to roll again, right?
Yeah, you're going to roll again. Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't look like there was a Pokemon. It looks like you overrolled. I guess I overestimated what the roll was, but still give me a D160.
I rolled again. I got 107, and it's a Clink Lang. It's a steel Pokemon. It's the third evolutionary.
Hang on.
He needs a pink.
Yeah, a Clink is what I would be up against, wouldn't it?
Let me just double check. 107. I think you are not in the right generation. I think you're on Gen 5, not Gen 6.
Yeah,
Oh, give me a
Clink was
second.
a
Then.
Gen 5.
1 second.
So you rolled a 100 and what? 107?
107.
So 107 on this dex is a Vile Plumes. That means that you'll be facing an Oddish.
Oddish.
It was Gen 5, right?
Gen 6.
You rolled it.
Gen 6.
You rolled it.
Oh,
Yeah, you rolled it 6.
okay.
Some Pokemon in previous generations are still in
107.
other generations.
Alright.
Let me find 107. I don't see 107.
I see right here. It says Vile Plume, and its first form is an Oddish. The weird thing about Gen 6 is that they had the decks divided into 3 smaller dexes, and then they had a overall dex. So it was very weird how they did it. But
Yeah,
on
they
the
were a little
overall
weird.
dex, it was coastal, central, and mountain.
This thing's called a what?
It's called an Oddish.
It's basically
Okay,
a
so-
radish.
How do you
It's
spell it?
Oddish.
Oddish.
Yep. and it
Come
is
on.
it's a grass and poison type.
Yeah, for some reason it won't let me look it up. I don't know why. So an Oddish would be a Gen 1 Pokemon as well, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Originally, yes. But Gen 6 is known to have multiple generations in it.
Yep. Yeah, on the national dex, or on the first on Gen 1, it'd be number 43.
43?
Yep.
Okay, so it grows up to be a Gloom and then a Vileplume.
Or if
A
you don't want the
Blossom.
Vileplume, and if you come up with a Sunstone, you have the potential to get a Blossom instead. That's later on.
And
But
to a what?
a
It's called
Blossom.
A Pol- Blossom.
Blossom.
Yep.
What
But
what
all right,
where's that on?
I
Gen
believe.
2.
Yeah,
Gen
that one
2?
was Gen 2.
Yep. But so as you approach the seeds, you see this little blue Pokemon with like 3 blades of grass sticking out from its head, and it kind of just like looks back up at you, and then just like it's like its like head and like the grass just like falls like floats over and everything with it. What do you do with the Oddish that you have just found?
I'm going to call upon that spirit to do battle with it so I can try to catch it.
All right. So what I need you to do is roll a d20 for initiative. We rolled a 9.
I got a 1.
Okay. So the
Oddish
Oddish will be
face.
going first. The Oddish kind of like looks at you as it sees you have Spirit come out, and it kind of like takes like a defensive stance. It's like, hey, buddy, I'm just trying to eat here. And it kind of like, it uses like a quick like little razor leaf. Are you about to say something, American Warburg?
Did he ever use a potion on Spirit?
Yeah, I was going to finish. I
Ooh.
forgot that I need to give it a potion.
I will allow you to use the potion real quick before the battle.
Appreciate it. I would toss Spirit
Next time, I will not be so lenient.
I understand. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Board Master. Thank you.
So you
I
go ahead and heal up.
I toss a before he goes into battle. I toss Spirit a Oranberry, and he snacks it and munches on it, and he feels rejuvenated. He feels good about himself, and he's ready to
Right.
take on that Pokemon.
All right, sounds good. All right, so after it sees Ghastly eat a full-on Oranberry, it gets jealous, and it kind of hurls like a razor leaf towards Spirit from its little head of grass. We roll a 18.
I roll 20.
So Ghastly kind of just like dips as the grass blade just like goes over, and it kind of like sticks out its tongue with like bits and pieces of the Oranberry chilling on its tongue, and this angers the Oddish. It is now your turn to command Spirit.
Well, since he is sticking out his tongue with what's left over of the Oranberry, y'all know what seafood is, right? When you chew it
That's
up and everything.
fancy.
We're basically going to go ahead and do a lick attack.
Oh, that's terrible. Okay.
I rolled an 18.
We rolled a 3. So that is going to do 1 thing of damage, and it is going to paralyze the Oddish on its first turn, and then possibly on its others. So, as Ghastly tries to rub insult to injury, it goes in and licks the Oddish with bits of the Oranberry still on its tongue, and the Oddish is paralyzed and sickened by what it has just been touched to. The Oddish is too paralyzed to move, as it's like struggling to conceive that it has bits of Oranberry on its left side. It is now back to your turn to command Spirit again.
Yes. Let's see. Roll. I rolled a 12. I would ask Spirit to do a sucker punch.
Well, Oddish rolled 17, so Oddish is going to overcome its quick little like fear of food being licked all over it, and it's going to dodge quickly from your sucker punch. But now we are going to roll to see if it breaks out of its paralysis. It does indeed break out of paralysis with a roll of 8 of 10. And now that it's broken out, it is going to attempt to use another Razor Leaf on you. It rolls an 18.
16.
The Razor Leaf goes in and it just like slices like right through Spirit's face. It phases through, but obviously it has like more of like an after effect, and the Spirit kind of just like shakes it off, but is like, okay, that was kind of rude. And the Oddish now like shaking off the saliva and bits of Oranberry from its body. It's now angered even more so. But it is now your turn to command spirits.
I would go ahead and command Spirit to do a sucker punch. I rolled a 15.
It rolls a 2. So, Spirit comes in, and after being hit with the Razor Leaf, it comes in and just like forms another ball of gas, and the ball of gas just like slaps across the Oddish's face as Oddish kind of like falls sideways and tumbles a bit right before it gets back on its little 2 feet. It then goes in to use Absorb. Absorb, if connects, can heal 1 HP. And then there's a Mega Drain that can heal 2, and then there's Giga Drain that can heal 3. But it only knows Absorb at this stage. It tries to use Absorb. 16.
9.
It gains an HP from you, but it takes away from Ghastly or Spirits. So Spirit is down to what? 3 HP? I believe it's down 3 HP now.
Yeah.
And he got
So,
attack. Yeah, if I can beat this thing.
Yeah. Well, no, the Otter's only got 1 HP back.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
it's at 4 HP.
Okay.
Spirit's at 3. So it just got another health bar back. But it's Spirit's turn, so what do you have Spirit do?
I would tell it to go ahead and use Hypnosis. I rolled a 18.
Okay, we rolled a nat 1. Due to it rolling a nat 1, it is automatically, for the next 2 turns, going to stay asleep. With that being in mind, the Oddish kind of gets drowsy and just falls backwards on its little blue butt and starts snoring. So it is your turn. What do you have Ghastly do?
I would tell
Spirit.
Spirit to roll another sucker punch, and I rolled a 12.
It rolls an 11. So, Spirit goes in, and while it's sleeping, just lands another ball of gas across the Oddish's head, and the Oddish just like falls over in sleep. It is paralyzed, or it's asleep still due to its crit fail. So you get to go again.
I rolled a 9. I would ask Spirit to do another sucker punch.
It rolls a 3. So Ghastly, coming in from the other side with a different ball of gas, goes in to punch the Oddish in its sleep again, and the Oddish kind of like grunts as it like begins to roll backwards. It is now Oddish's turn, and Oddish is going to roll to get out of its sleep. It does not get out of its sleep. It is still asleep. Your turn.
I'm just going to keep on beating it like a dead horse, basically. I'm going to ask Spirit to use Sucker Punch again. I rolled a 16.
It rolled a 19. So somehow, in its sleep, as Spirit is coming in for a sucker punch, the Oddish just turns a bit, and it just barely misses. It is time for Oddish to roll to see if it wakes up. It does not wake up. It is still asleep. It is your turn. Are you going to have sucker punch again?
Yes, I am. And I rolled a 6.
It rolled a 7. So, it again barely misses the Oddish. The Oddish, it seems like the Oddish knows it's coming, and it's just like rolling sideways as sucker punches keep on flying. Let's see. Oddish is still asleep though, so it is again your turn.
Sucker Punch again. I rolled a 19. Thank the gods.
It rolled an 11. So, Finally, one of the sucker punches connects the Oddish, and Oddish kind of like tumbles backwards and stuff, and it's now laying on its stomach. It is still asleep. This
Oh,
Oddish
Somehow.
is like it is a very deep sleeper. Nothing is going to wake this Oddish. Okay, what do you have Spear do?
I'm going to ask it to do another sucker punch, but it only rolled a 3.
April 15. So again, in its
Ah!
deep sleep, it is still evading punches.
It must be
This thing
having
is
very good
tricky.
dreams.
It must be
The
drinking
Oddish
those
has
orange berries.
finally woken up.
Oh boy.
It struggles to its little 2 blue feet as it looks up at you and it attempts to use a razor leaf. It rolls a 6.
I rolled an 8.
So Spirit kind of like just like dodges the razor leaf as the Oddish is like still trying to wake up from its beauty sleep. What do you have Spirit do?
I'm going to be the guy to get the bad news and hit it with another sucker punch. I mean, I've been beating it so hard right now. I'm going to keep on going beat it until it can't get back up. I rolled a 20. Yes!
You rolled a 20? It rolled a 1. Yeah, so the Oddish rolled a 1. Spirit goes in for a final sucker punch and
Like a redheaded
like lands.
stepchild.
It lands like directly into the Oddish's forehead and just sends the Oddish tumbling backwards, and it is knocked unconscious. Are you going to attempt to capture this Oddish?
I am. Everyone pray and hope I get this, because ever since I lost that one Pokemon, it made a mockery of me. I need this. I need this.
All
I
right,
need to
so
catch up with Caleb.
go ahead and roll a d20 for me.
I rolled a 10.
All right, that's 1 shake. You need 2 more shakes. Roll again.
I rolled an 11.
That's 2 shakes, so that makes 3 shakes. You have successfully captured the Oddish.
Oh,
So
okay.
as you sit there and you are trying to not have a heart attack because you are tired of carrying Pokemon away, you throw another Pokeball at it and it starts wiggling and wiggles, and then it just makes a little boom sound, and indicating that you have successfully captured an Oddish. What do you do after you have caught this Oddish?
I say to Spirit, we did it, buddy. I tried going for a hug, but it goes through. But me and him both end up laughing really hard and everything at the idea of me trying to hug him.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Now I'm the only one with just one Pokemon.
So, do you head back to the camp?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What do you do whenever you get back to camp?
I give I gave okay, once I get back to the camp, I sit down by what's left of the smoldering fire,
Mhm.
and I ask Spirit to keep an eye out, because that battle kind of tired me out. Just panicking and all that stuff wasn't under really control of that.
Okay.
And I fall asleep uh, right by the fire.
Fantastic. About another hour or so passes by. Nothing really strange happens. Ghastly just goes and explores a bit. About after an hour or so, another hour and a half, it's about 4 or 5 a.m. now, and the alarm goes off. And about this time, Wolf is poking his head out of his tent, and Luna also is poking her head out and everything. Spirit is like just like floating around like all happily, and Wolf, you see Isaiah like passed out by the fire, just face into the dirt and everything, just exhausted. But yeah, so as you see him passed out, Spirit kind of like goes back to its Pokeball and just like plucks it as it knows it doesn't have to like keep watch anymore. So what are you doing, Wolf? Now that you are waking up.
I shake my head at the scene as I sleeping on the ground, and then I head off to one of the closest trees near the camp and sit down by the tree.
Okay. Well, as you are by the tree, um, let's see here. Go ahead and give me a dexterity exploration roll. I believe that is again 3d10s for you.
8, 6, and 2.
Ely's got one success, so that's what matters. Um, as you're sitting there against the tree and everything, Luna is kind of like laying up against you. You kind of get like the urge to do some exploring. As you kind of like climb up the tree a little bit. Um, go ahead and give me a go ahead and give me an acrobatics and athletics check.
And what's that one?
Give me an acrobatics, athletics, and dexterity.
So 3,
So that is actually 4d10.
4d10s?
Mhm.
9, 4, 4, 9.
2 successes. Okay, so you climb the tree easily. As you climb up there, you kind of like look around from like a nice like height to see if any or anything that comes out of like that's suspicious to you. A little bit out of ways, kind of more towards the trail. Actually, you kind of notice like you notice kind of like a weird cloth of sorts just dangling around and stuff. So you kind of like get the urge to like go look at the cloth, climb down from the tree. Luna follows you and everything. And as you get to this cloth, uh, you kind of see that there are footprints near it. Would you like to follow these footprints?
Yes, I would.
The cloth itself seems to be torn into, not eaten. It just looks like it's been torn into, and the footprints kind of like make their way off into like the brush. You probably like walk a mile up towards the trail, and you come into like this like little small clearing, and you see a Pokemon there. Give me a D8.
Gen 2.
Ah, Gen 2. Fantastic. Okay, from Gen 2, go ahead and give me a D. Go ahead and give me a D. You can create your own dice too, right?
Yes.
Give me a D256.
Hold on one moment while I create the die. 157.
Let's see here.
Oh, that's a
Hang on. You said 157?
Yes.
that's the final evolving Dillo Cyndaquil.
No.
You're looking at National Dex.
Hey, you're looking at National Dex.
Oh, I guess I was wrong. That's what I was looking at. I thought that's where we're based off.
No, we're
Oh,
basing
they
it
have
off
the
of
numbers.
each
They
generation.
have the numbers wrong on here. Hang on.
Oh,
They, I have to send in like a report to Bulbapedia because they have the numbers wrong. But let's see here. 2X.
kind of
Plan to
curious what
catch
you.
whatever it is.
I bet you it's going to be either a fire or water.
All right, you said 157.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you, my friend, are running straight into a Smeargle.
Oh,
Smeargle,
of course.
Smeargle.
So you get to. Oh my god, funny. Okay, so you run into a Smeargle. So for Azaya, as you may not know, Smeargle is basically a normal type Pokemon that is like a French painter. Um, it's an interesting mon. It can use like Trick Room.
Can also use
It can
water
use
gun.
Copy. It can. It can use Copycat and stuff like that, I believe. It can use like a variety of type moves. You just have to like, of course, look at its move set and pick 4 moves that you wanted to know off the bat from its move pool. But nonetheless, you run into a Smeargle just sitting there, sitting on its behind, and it is using the cloth that it had torn up to paint stuff onto it and everything. As you see the Smeargle doing so, what do you do?
I'm actually going to pull an Ash Ketchum and slowly walk up to the Pokemon and see what it's painting.
Okay. As you actually go ahead and give me a
Sneak.
well. We
I'm
don't
not
really have like a sneak thing on here, so go ahead and give me a intelligence. Give me an intelligence investigation.
3D10s.
Actually, that is 4d10s because your intelligence is at 3,
Ah, okay.
so 4d10s.
A 9, 7, 1, and 10.
Okay, so you got good successes. So as you sneak up closer to it, you kind of see that it is painting a picture of berries and various food and stuff as it's doing its like little it's humming a sort of tune. Um, as you sneak up even more, it doesn't notice you, thanks to your successful rolls. What do you do at this time?
I just watch it as it continues to paint and wait till it's done before I try and interact with the Pokemon.
Okay. About another 10 minutes pass by before it's finished. As it stretches out the cloth and everything to look at it and everything, and it like nods, and then it crumbles the thing up and it just throws it. as if it's like, ah, fantastic work. I'm done with this work. So as it's done destroying its own masterpiece of food, what do you do?
I pick up its painting, uncrumple it, and say loud enough for it to hear, "This is a really good painting."
The Smeagol, hearing this, will turn around and like it'll like Smeagol, and it'll take its tail and start like twirling it, and it'll be like, hmm. It pulls out another parchment of like cloth and just begins to start painting as it's staring at you. And as it does, it keeps on looking back and forth. Another like 10 minutes go by, and you're literally just staring there, just like staring at the Smeargle as it's painting, as it's like looking at you. And then it turns the cloth, and it shows a stick figure of you and Luna next to each other, and it throws up a thumb sign like this, like Smeargle. Oh, what do you do?
You're really good. I wouldn't mind you coming along and traveling with us if you want to.
The Smeargle tilts his head and kind of does like a little thinking number. Throws that paper, that parchment away, and it pulls out yet another one. And it starts painting again. and it looks at you as it's doing so. Another 5 minutes pass, and it holds up the parchment towards you. And it shows you a stick figure with Luna battling it. And it's like, Miracle. And it's got like a very cocky, like artist motif about it and stuff. So it's a very cocky Pokemon. And it's like, as if it shows you this as if it's saying, you have to beat me in battle first before I even think about joining you, you filthy human. So,
Well then.
so at this, as you see this parchment or this beautiful painting, what do you say to it?
I look at the painting and go, you want to battle to see if I am worthy of being your trainer.
The Smeargle nods as it, again, crumbles the paper, and it throws it at you this time. And it starts twirling its tail. What do you do?
Alright, Smeargle, you're on. Just as I catch the recent painting that you threw at me.
Okay. Alrighty. Go ahead and give me a d20.
19.
10. You will have the first.
Luna, use quick attack.
15.
I rolled a 2.
So Luna will jump into battle and it will disappear. It'll attempt to appear from the right side of the Smeargle. The Smeargle kind of like quickly paints the parchment red as it holds it up and goes like, and it lifts it up just as Luna tries to tackle, and it quickly just like goes. Yeah, the Smeargle, now obviously being the cocky Pokemon it is, it kind of like does like a tail whip of sorts and like takes its tail and it attempts to like whip it across Luna's backside. It rolls a 4.
A 10.
Luna quickly dodges the attack and quickly evades, getting red paint on its behind as the Smeargle takes its tail and begins to twirl it again like, not bad. Your turn.
I told you Luna to use quick attack again. I rolled a 6.
It rolls a 3. So the quick attack comes in, and Smeargle again holds up its red parchment. It begins to do this, and just as it thinks Luna is about to go towards it, Luna appears on the other side and just hits it right on the side, and Smeargle is caught off guard and is like, oh no. At this time, Smeargle tries to go in for a headbutt and just like lunges its head down at Luna. It rolls an 8.
Nat 1.
Oof, double damage. That sucks. So Luna is hit by the headbutt and just gets pile drived into the ground, and the Smeargle kind of like stands over it triumphantly, like, what do you have Luna do?
Luna, use beat up.
Okay.
14.
14. Reroll.
16.
7. So, as Smeargle is standing over Luna as if it's won a tremendous victory, Luna quickly, like, turns around and just uses its paws to, like, viciously punch upwards towards Smeargle, and Smeargle just takes it. The punch is, like, up to the chin, and it falls over on its back. Smeargle's down to 3 HP as well, I believe, now.
Yep.
Smeargle quickly gets back to its feet, and it attempts to grab its tail and do another tail whip against Luna. It rolls another 7.
6.
This time, the tail connects across Luna's face, and a red mark of paint is just like splashed across its mouth, kind of like Joker styled halfway. The Luna just like looks back and just like trying to like rub the paint off and everything. But what do you have Luna do now?
Luna use quick attack.
11.
15.
15. So it connects. Luna does like the evasiveness, back and forth, back and forth. At this time, Smeargle is done with its cape thing and tries to get his tail ready to whack Luna. But Luna is quick and comes up from behind this time and headbutts or tackles it in the back with its quick attack. And Smeargle kind of lunges forward. Well, Smeargle is what, at 1 HP now?
2. It's 2 and 2.
2 HP. It's 2 and 2. That's what. So at this time, Smeargle kind of turns around and attempts to use a swift attack very quickly. It rolls a 1.
17.
So it throws swift stars at Luna, but Luna is easily able to dodge the stars as it just jumps back and forth, evading them. What do you have Luna do now?
I tell Luna to use another quick attack. 19.
7. So another quick attack comes in. Smeargle thinks it's gonna do nothing and attempts to twirl its tail around or whatever to smack Luna somewhere. But Luna dodges and just lands right in front of Smeargle and then jumps right up and hits him right in the gut. And Smeargle goes flying backwards and it starts to struggle to stand up. Smeargle now fixes its hat kind of thing that's attached to its body. Always want to call it a hat, but it's part of its body, so it kind of just adjusts the tumor hat.
It's toupee.
It's toupee of sorts, and it sits there, and the paint begins to turn purple, and it uses sludge as it hurls ink at Luna. It rolls a 6.
10.
Luna dodges it, jumps backwards to evade the paint that begins to simmer, sort of as if it was poisonous, and the Smeargle kind of stares at you with anticipation and awaits your order on the.
Use speed up. I rolled an 18.
It rolled a 12. So Luna quickly rushes in, avoiding the more sludge and poison, and just uses its tiny little paws to beat the living tar out of the Smeargle. And the Smeargle falls backwards, and its eyes begin to roll around and everything, as if it is fainted and knocked out unconscious. What do you do at this time that you've seen it fall over?
I'm going to attempt to catch it.
Fantastic! I hoped you would.
18.
That is a successful catch. So you throw the Pokeball out towards the Smeargle. Luna watches the Pokeball just fly overhead and land on the Smeargle's head, and the Smeargle does not put up any sort of fight, and the Pokeball just goes doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, boom, and indicates that you have successfully captured Smeargle. What do you do now that you have caught the Smeargle? You are still in this area.
I pick up Smeargle's Pokeball, and I go ahead and call it out and give Smeargle a potion to help heal it.
Okay. Smeargle comes out of its Pokeball and it takes the potion and it's just ah! It looks at you and it just gives a nod. It then pulls out another parchment and begins to paint. Another 5 minutes go by, and it shows a stick figure of you, Luna next to it, and the Smeargle next to you, with a victory flag. And it goes, Smeargle. And it hands you the parchment instead of crumbling it.
I take the parchment and fold it up and put it in my pocket for safekeeping.
Fair enough. What do you do after this?
I return Smeargle to its Pokeball and start heading back to camp.
Okay. By the time you get back to camp, it's about 7 a.m. Another few hours pass by, and we're all starting to wake up and everything. At this time, we all start getting out of our tents, and we all have a weird. Yeah, you come off the ground, but we all have a weird smirk upon our faces, and we all like look at each other and we're like, at the same time we're like, I've got something to tell you, and we're all just like staring at each other like,
What?
oh. So at this time, I'm going to say each of us roll a d20 to see who goes first.
9.
11.
I'm trying to get out of this. How do I get out of here? What is going on here? Okay, there we go. I rolled a 5.
Alright, so Caleb will go first, Wolf will go second, and then Zai will go last. Caleb kind of like looks at everyone, they all kind of like point to Caleb, and Caleb says, okay. Caleb like sends out his Pokeball, and a Poliwag pops out, and it just starts like throwing like fun little bubbles everywhere. And Caleb's like, well, I caught this guy last night as you guys were all asleep, and that makes 3 Pokemon for me.
Congrats, that's Caleb.
Yeah,
That's
yep,
awesome.
yep. I don't know what I don't know what I'm gonna name it yet, but I do advise getting your Pokédex out so you can get some information on it, Isaiah.
I'll definitely go ahead and scan that Pokemon and get some info on it. And info on my Pokemon as well, because I forgot to scan it when I had the chance. I took the opportunity to catch it rather than scan it, because if I scanned it, there's a chance that it could have just scurry off and run away.
Fair enough. Caleb kind of like raises his eyebrow at you as like you caught a Pokemon, but before he can even speak any words, Wolf kind of like chimes in. He's like, "But I have something to say too." Wolf.
I toss out, I grab Smeargle's Pokeball and call him out and go, I got a Smeargle.
A Smeargle comes out and it just like looks at everyone and like gives them all like very judgmental looks. Then it pulls out a parchment and then begins to paint. As it's painting,
on Caleb's face.
as it's painting, Isaiah, go ahead and tell us what happened to you, my friend. Because Caleb tells you to go ahead and tell us what your news is as Smeargle's over here like painting.
Well, I take one of those, as you know, Pokeballs can go up to this size right here. So I go ahead and grab that off my belt. I resize it, and I throw the Pokemon to the ground, and a Oddish appears. And I talked that me and Spirit found this Oddish lurking around and caught it. And then I look at the Oddish and I say to the Oddish, hard feelings about the lick, right?
Oh. The Oddish kind of like stares at you as it like kind of like shudders a little bit and like
the food.
It's grossed out by the thought of it, and it just stutters. And it's just like,
That poor Pokemon.
Smeargle, now seeing that another Pokemon has entered into like the group, it looks over at the Oddish and goes, and starts painting in the Oddish and stuff. Caleb kind of like looks at you guys and he's like, "Well, congratulations on catching Pokemon, guys. It seems we all had a very eventful evening."
Yeah, thanks.
Sure did. By the way, how far are we from the next town over? I need to visit the Pokemon Center as soon as I possibly can.
We're about 5 miles out, I think.
Yeah, we're 5 miles out.
A little bit of time passes. We're all packing up and everything. Smeargle at this point has finally finished his new painting of all of us and our Pokemon and stuff, and he like kind of like just does like the I'm the master at my craft, and like hands the parchment over off to Wolf and stuff. And then he like touches the Pokeball and just like goes back into his Pokeball. As we get ready to leave and everything, we set off on the trail towards Telmont City, and it says like 3 more miles and stuff. And we're gonna leave off here. So in the next episode, we should reach Telmont City, and then we will be able to visit the Pokemon Center, get some food, more supplies, all that stuff, meet different characters, so on and so forth. We're probably going to spend quite a bit of time in Telmont City. So just a heads up. But yeah, congratulations on catching Pokemon, guys.
And to you as well, Caleb.
We've all got extra Pokemon. Well, we're done with the session now. It's not.
Sorry.
But-
Now, course. Sorry.
But yes, congratulations are in order. We have all captured another Pokemon. Let's see. Isaiah won a Pokemon battle as well against Nick in his Riolu.
That makes 5. That makes 5 if I remember right. 5 XP altogether. I'm pretty sure. Hold on.
That's 4.
Yeah, 5.
4.
5 if you count Oddish.
Oh yeah, it's 5. Okay, so 5. Yep, it should be at 5. I believe so.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yep, 5 XP. So that means that Spirit will gain an HP bar. So it has 6 HP. Well, what did you guys think about that session? I know that we're still recording and everything, so before we get on to like what we are about to talk about, if anyone has any suggestions as to nicknames for our Pokemon, go ahead and leave them in the comments section or message American Warbird what you think we should nickname these Pokemon. But we'll start with Isaiah. What do you think about the episode?
I think that this one was really good and everything. Like, I mean, as always, Wolf is always ballsy and tries to play Superman and to the rescue.
I'm a good character. Come on.
I think you're too nice of a guy and overtaken. I think you can do something nice, and honestly, can be taken advantage of.
Did you even see my character sheet?
No, I have not, but I can definitely see how it is with you. But I think it was pretty cool how you saved that lady. I'm just a little bit upset, even though she's in her 30s and everything, and I'm a youngster and everything. I would still have loved to have her number. I mean,
of course.
You may run into her again though, because she went to Telmont City, so you may have the chance to get that number. You never know. I mean, you're gonna have to roll for it. Like, I'm not gonna make it easy on you, but I mean, if it's something that you feel like your character would do, then by all means, if we run into her again, go for it.
What I also liked was I don't know, something about how Caleb handled that situation with a water Pokemon, because rock Pokemon and fire Pokemon are not really good against water. But I'm surprised how Caleb kept his cool on how he had to handle that. And I was pretty sure for a fact that his roly-poly was done for. I really thought about it, because, I mean, that thing was just beat to hell. But
yeah, I didn't know how well that was going to go either. I was kind of like, I was like, either Burnout's going to faint and I'm going to lose the opportunity to capture this. Because I could have, if I wanted to, I could have thrown out Natsu as well, keep the fight going. But I mean, it was still a risk.
Why didn't you?
Honestly, I wanted to get Roly-Poly or Burnout in its various points. So.
Right. So basically, the entire match, you're clenching your cheeks, right?
A little bit. But all right, Warbird, what did you think, buddy?
It was really good. I liked how we all actually managed to catch one Pokemon this session.
And you got a cocky ass Smeargle, and he got like a very jealous Oddish that loves food, but does not like food being licked upon it.
I'll make it up to the Oddish. I'll make it up to him next next session I'll make it up to the Oddish.
The only downside I had with the session was not being able to catch that Spinnerack.
Yeah, that was
That,
actually a good
that would have
Pokemon.
gave you 3, but I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah,
it happens though. It happens though. I mean,
The dice
like I
gods were
said,
against me on that
we're not.
Spinnerack.
Yeah, we're not gonna catch every Pokemon we come across.
you see,
Obviously, Isaiah had the issue.
I'm just happy that I decided to walk instead of moving forward because it'd be funny if like we finally get there and fucking Wolf is strung up in a fucking cocoon hanging upside down.
I'm like, well, we might have to. We might have to like capture the Spinnerack ourselves or something. But
That sounds like
yeah,
something Isaiah would do to me.
it was a good episode. Though.
It was.
It was nice. Well, there was some action, Pokemon battles, captures. You guys got some money now, or some
$75.
decent money. I'm still penniless, but hey, whatever. But yeah, I think Caleb's gonna have to like take the next Pokemon battle, but
Yeah.
since we're gonna be going to Telmont City, there's gonna be a lot of Pokemon battles to take place.
Oh yeah.
So get ready for that because, like I said, we're gonna be there for a little bit. There's a lot to do in Telmont City that I have planned out. There's different routes not routes, but like different paths we can take within the city that'll lead to different things. So
Or we all could like when we get to the city, there's always a possibility of like splitting different ways and meeting back somewhere.
I mean, there is a different possibility of that as well. But from what I have listed, like in my plans and stuff, there's over 10 like big activities to do aside from the gym itself within Telmont City. So
yeah.
there's quite a bit to do. But I guess that's gonna do it for this session, guys. So to YouTube on American Warbird's channel. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna throw it over to him to end us out here.
Well, that's the episode, everyone. Thanks for watching. Like the video, comment on what we should name our Pokemon or future Pokemon whenever we get to them. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, smack that notification bell. That way you're updated on every time I post a video. And see you in the next episode. Peace.